shouldn't even do an intro.
Oh,
Chris Barnes, it is an honor to be in your presence, man. It's cool.
feelings mutual, Chris Garza.
And this might be the record, latest podcast ever. We're going on 10:30 p.m. I'll usually be in bed.
Well, this is just my day starting here, it seems like.
Guess so you're like, so you usually wake up like at what, like 2:30?
Yeah, on tour it seems like it. Like I
Okay.
said, when I'm heading west, it seems like my schedule starts adjusting a little bit. But like even when I go to Europe, I avoid jet lag, and
Okay.
like I'll even preparing for a tour of Europe, I'll think about what time will it be on their time zone. So I'll start rehearsing like at 1 p.m. because it's 9 hours ahead in Europe. So
Okay.
like 1 p.m. I'll start rehearsing for a 10 o'clock show in Europe. So I build muscle memory and my body's used to rehearsing at that time. So I'll go on stage and I'll be used to that time schedule already. And I usually,
crazy.
when I'm in Europe, I never go off West Coast time. So I go to bed at about 8 or 9 in the morning, and I wake up at about 7 o'clock,
Oh.
at 6 o'clock at night. So I never see daylight, and I go on stage about 2 or 3 hours after I wake up. So it's just like when I'm at home on the West Coast, I'll wake up 2 or 3 hours later, I'll do my practice set. So I never see anything on tour. I've never been to the Eiffel Tower. I've never been to the Coliseum in like, 30 some years of touring, 34 years of touring. I don't do sightseeing. I go on tour to be on stage. And I don't really do any of the external type of stuff that people do. So my life is on the tour bus and on the stage.
So you don't even she doesn't want to go out and like, hey, let's go see like the Eiffel Tower or something. Nothing.
No, like I've had my girlfriend on tour with me, and she's like, she doesn't care. I mean,
That's cool, man.
She hasn't been
That's cool.
out for a while, but
That's cool.
she knows what I have to do to keep myself in like top, performance condition. So she was good with that, but she doesn't come out with me anymore, really.
So you go out solely just to rock. We were just talking. You're going on 29 days straight.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't even do that. I can't do that.
Well, the only way
I'm a pussy.
No, you're not. You're not.
I need to step up. I'm like I'm up at 10:30.
Yeah, you're
okay,
well rested.
No more days off anymore. No more days off.
I don't want a day off. I hate days off. I hate hotels. The other day we had a day off, our first day off after 29 shows in a row in like Sandy, Utah, and a lot of stuff around in that, and hotel and everything. I stayed on the bus all day pretty much. At 8 o'clock, which is our usual set time, I ran through the set and rehearsed the set for an hour. So, I'm not going to sit around. I mean, it pissed me off that we had a day off. I mean, I'm out on tour to be on stage, not to like sit at a hotel and wait, So I like being on stage. If I'm going out on tour, I'm not wasting, 12 days in hotels or whatever. Like this tour is, I don't know, like 47 shows, and we have 3 days off, and basically all 3 days are travel days.
You're crazy, man. Yeah, I could tell. Also, this is the first time we've done a podcast right after seeing the band. This is the first time ever. So this is a new experience for me as well. This was cool. I got like I see it, and dude, it was so hard. My favorite thing is we're talking earlier. My favorite thing is to have beers and just watch a metal band play. That's my favorite thing, dude. I'm like, it's like this helps kind of drop the guard. I'm just dropping the guard. It's like it kind of gets me in like the zone.
Yeah.
But today was like, hashtag professional. Okay, I was like, I'll have no beers. Okay, but I had one.
Yeah.
I had one IPA, and it was so hard not to get a second one. Okay, we need to leave now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was sick, man. It was cool. I could tell that you being an OG, Chris, I could tell that you still love it.
I love it. I love it.
cool.
Yeah, it really chokes me up being up on stage when I see all the fans out there smiling and singing the lyrics and just having a good time,
crazy, man.
which is
After so many years, too, man.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, and it's different for me now too because, like I was telling you, I don't smoke weed and I don't drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So before, being on stage was a lot different. I felt like I didn't really appreciate things for what they were, and now
Okay.
now I have a like a deeper appreciation for what I do, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really really important to me that the fans are happy and they are enjoying being at the concert, and
Mm-hmm.
just seeing people like happy. I know my purpose in life is to make a difference in someone's life through the music that I'm involved with, and I hear it all the time from people, like doing the VIP meet and greets that I've done on this tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 12 years since I've been on tour in the States.
I know, man.
And
so wild, dude.
yeah, and it's like a lot of these guys will come to the meet and greet and they'll say, "Chris, you saved my life. Your music saved my life." Like this guy was in a car accident. He lost his eye. His face was split in half. I mean, he said he basically shouldn't be alive right now. But he was like, "Your music kept me alive in the hospital, man." He's like, "They played it for me every day I was in the hospital, and it pulled me through, And he's like, he was serious. He's like, "I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for your music, So it's surreal when someone says that, and I've had so many people give me different stories like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an obligation to the fans to really perform at my top level. So I take it really like, to heart. Like it's something that's so important to me right now to do this. And I
Mm-hmm.
love every one of them, man. I mean, those fans tonight were just so like incredible, and every single show on this tour has been like that, and it means a lot to me. It really does.
I see it, man. And for you, I really want to tell about the history of you, and I guess you know help me walk through it. I think maybe for you, death metal, like the seed might have been planted when you were 2 to 3 years old, correct? Like your mom would tell you a poem in the morning and at night, correct?
You're gonna get me to like really break down here, Chris.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, man, my mom passed away about 3 weeks before the tour started, so I didn't really think I was gonna be out on this tour.
I'm sorry to hear that,
But
man.
she wanted me
It's
to.
terrible.
Yeah, she wanted me to. She was really excited for me to do this tour and be back out on stage. And my mom was the kindest, most gentle, selfless person that's been on this planet. I'm telling you, man, it's so hard to describe her to people, but yeah, she was everything to me. So you know, I talked to
Sorry,
her on
Chris.
Thanksgiving, and then like 5 days later, she was gone, and it's been really, really hard for me. And but yeah,
I'm sorry, Chris.
yeah, my mom would say this little like this little poem, or it was
And it was dark too.
yeah, and
It was about like a hearse.
yeah, it was never laugh when a hearse goes by, or you may be the next to die. First they wrap you in a big white sheet, Then they throw you 6 feet deep. It all goes well for about a week. Then your tomb starts to leak. Ants run in, ants run out. Ants play pinochle on your spout. And then your corpse turns a sickening green, and pus runs out like whipping cream. So never laugh when a hearse goes by, or you may be the next to die. And I'd say, Mom, Mom, say it again, Mom. Say it again.
You were drawn to that shit already.
Yeah. So.
And you were 2 and 3 years old.
Yeah, probably 5, 6, all through that. Yeah.
And so do you think that might have just planted a seed?
Probably, Yeah.
And so she would tell you this poem, and then that was like that would lead to you being a little bit older, like 6, and then you found the alligator people.
And then I what?
You found the alligator people, the movie, right?
The Alligator People. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the first movie that I saw. My first horror film. Yeah.
So this was your first film you saw, right?
It scared the crap out of me, Chris. Yeah, that really frightened. You've really done your homework, man.
I'm trying to scare you.
I really have an affinity towards like B horror films. So
this was the first one that you saw, correct?
Yeah, it was. The Alligator People. It was terrifying.
Who were you hanging around with when you're that young? Seeing this shit?
we were at my mom and dad's friend's house down the street. Ed and Maureen Rosinski, and my friend Mark Rosinski is my best friend is when I was a little kid, and this was just on the TV when we were hanging out at their house one night, and it scared the freaking hell out of me.
Yeah.
I was probably 5 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's it, dude. That fucking
funny.
Dude, that batch of 5 years, dude, really just made your whole life, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. My dad was big into science fiction too, and that the weird thing about this is my mom passed away in this beginning of December, and then 11 days later, my sister and I found out my dad passed away.
Are you?
So it's just really strange, and it sucks because I hadn't had any contact with him for a while, and I never got to like kind of say I was sorry. So,
How long has it been since you've spoken to him?
It was about 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah, and it was something so stupid. But
so, just like
we both were good at not giving in, and I should have gave in. I should have apologized, and so that was right before the tour started. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, and all last year it seemed like was just death was overshadowing me because I don't have any kids, and my dogs are like my kids. And in May, my best buddy, I had to put him to sleep about 3 weeks after his 10th birthday, and it was like devastating to me. It just the whole year that's why I started rehearsing so heavily to get ready for this tour. It was not only to get ready for it, but I had to, because when I put him to sleep, I just lost it. I cried for every day for 6 months, man. Every single day. It really broke my heart, and I had to like start doing something. Otherwise I would have probably started drinking again or smoking weed or something. I'm just like, last year was probably one of the toughest years of my life. It was, the whole past 5 years have been horrible for me, but last year was just like it. So I had to really start just taking this, what I do, being a musician, being a vocalist, like ultra serious, just to get my mind out of just a lot of real bad pain, So it was tough. It was a tough year, and
That's not even a tough year. There's no word for that kind of year.
it was just the worst thing. But just being on this tour has helped me to make sense of everything. And, like I said, I knew how important it was to my mom that I was going to be back out here. And I know she wouldn't have wanted me to give up.
Yeah, that's not giving up, man. That would break some people. Because a lot of I'm chain linking memories right now. There's a lot of bands that they have a tour booked, and then they announce they have a passing of, it's usually a mother or a father, and then they drop off.
Yeah.
You had both.
Yeah.
Within the month, and you still went out. That's a rare thing, Chris. It's crazy. I don't know if I could even do that. I consider myself pretty fucking insane.
There was too many people that were relying on me, and I couldn't let them down. Mm-hmm. I couldn't let all these fans that have been waiting all these years, I couldn't let them down, Chris. Mm-hmm. And my mom wouldn't have wanted me to do that. So I had to do it just for her, so. Mm-hmm. I don't mean to bring the interview down.
No, you're literally, this is the place to do it, man. This is it, man. Do you remember because if it's you, then there's no excuse, man. Like, a lot of people struggle with ego and families, and a lot of people have arguments with their mothers or fathers, and like, when do you, the child has a tough time that they need to check their ego and just kind of let their parents win. Do you remember the last thing you and your father talked about? Because then maybe people can avoid that, because you actually lived it, like the worst of it.
No, I don't remember the last thing we talked about. I remember what it was about that caused me to give up on everything. It was just basically things that were going on for a long time since I was a kid. With
that, it went back that much?
Yeah, it did, because the lady he married after my mom and him got divorced was just.
Oh, this is getting deep.
Shit. She was very like a kind of a mentally abusive person. So my sister and I, at one point, just had enough of it. And like, this was back in 2012. And we both just decided that we'd had enough, and we couldn't, like, if it was just our dad, we could have, like, we wanted to talk to him, but it was always her being a part of it, and it was just such a negative thing, and we just couldn't take it anymore. So we cut him out of our lives, and it was tough. I loved my dad. He was.
Yeah, that was one of my questions for you. Given what you've done in the death metal scene, and what I'm always like, what was his upbringing like with his mom and dad, and then I found that story of the poem. I was like, okay, then there's at least some like relationship there.
Yeah. What my dad's, what was his upbringing like?
Oh, yours.
My upbringing
with
I had a great upbringing. When my parents were married and stuff, we lived in a beautiful house up in the country across from a ski resort, and my mom worked at the ski resort, and my dad managed a department store, and he's a very smart guy. He grew up on a farm, and yeah, I had a great upbringing. I learned how to ski when I was like 5 years old. I learned after they got divorced, he taught me how to drive a stick shift sports car when I was like 11.
Fuck yeah.
You know, I was riding motorcycles. I had a mini bike when I was like 10 years old. He was a big sports car fan. I mean, he had any British sports car you could think of, and so my love of automobilia and cars really comes from my dad. And I've also had any type of sports car you could think of, motorcycles. So, you know, I don't ride anymore because I don't want to, you know, end up, you know.
Yeah, because you already crashed once, so right.
Yeah, you know about that too.
Yeah, you crashed a 4-wheeler into a fence, correct?
Yeah, into a barbed wire fence at like 30 miles an hour. You got. How did you really have done your homework, Chris?
Oh well.
Jeez, man. Yeah. So my upbringing was great, and then my dad decided to move the family to Florida in 1981. So he wanted to move to Florida to be closer to his mom and take care of her, my grandmother. And
what part of Florida?
well, first we moved to Pensacola for about a year and a
You're
half.
fucking out there, dude.
Huh?
You're out there.
Yeah, it was right on the bayou across from the Air Force Base. So I remember watching jets go up. But I only lived there for a summer, and things were like really bad at that point. I couldn't take his wife. I mean, it was coming down to a point where
That's how. Oh, so that's why you mentioned.
I was 13 years old, and I was just I was hating things. I haven't really told anybody this other than my family, but I had it in my mind I was either going to kill her or I was going to jump a frickin' freight train and go back and somehow find my way back to New York.
Wow.
It was that bad, man. So I asked my dad if I could move in with my mom back in New York, and he sat me down and asked me why, and I just told him I wanted to get away from this place, you know, and surprisingly he let me, which was really strange because when he left my mom, he left her with nothing. My mom was the sweetest, just the sweetest lady, and nothing ever got her down. I never saw her upset. She was always happy. She never yelled at me once. She always was just the kindest person. The only time she ever got mad at me was in 1985.
A date?
In January of 1985.
On a month too? My goodness.
It was during a blizzard in Buffalo when I had lived with her for about 4 years. And Metallica was playing at the Salty Dog Sky Room in Buffalo. And we had tickets, but it was a major blizzard. And she didn't want me to go. She was afraid that something was going to happen. I was like, Mom, it's Metallica. It was Ride the Lightning tour.
Oh my goodness.
So me and Paul
Is this it? The blizzard?
Yeah, blizzard of 85. It took us 3 different rides to basically get 6 miles to the gig.
Oh my goodness. Wait, how do you drive in that?
That's
wow.
it. Literally,
fuck.
By the end of the night, it was 6 feet of snow. There was snow up to the top of a fence, you know, like a fence around a yard. I remember seeing it. So we got to the show, and I said, Mom, I'm going. She's like, I'm going to kick you out of the house. She didn't mean it, but that was the first and only time my mom had ever spoken to me like that. I was like, I have to go to this concert. So we went, and so there was only like 50 people in the room. That's how bad the snow was, you know. So
that's dope, man.
It was Armored Saint, Metallica, and Wasp. And it was so bad that after the gig, all the bands were stranded. And they held up in like this little restaurant next door. I didn't stay because my teenage self wanted to go get weed.
Of course.
So
that's a great reason, man.
Me and Paul and our other friend, we left to go meet someone who never showed up. So we the next day we found out that all our friends partied with Metallica all night long.
Oh wow.
So it was like the biggest missed opportunity.
Maybe it was just meant to be, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't get kicked out of my house or anything, but you know, yeah, so my dad let me move in back. My dad let me move in with my mom, and I got to go, live in New York again. And
Was this so? This was like was this the outskirts? Was this actually you're in Buffalo?
it was in the suburbs of Buffalo.
Suburbs.
Yeah,
Okay.
we lived in. I went to school in Orchard Park, New York. It was basically by where the Bills Stadium is, where the Buffalo Bills play. We lived like right down the street from there.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah.
What's up with like Buffalo? Because I know you're a sports fan. What's up with like Buffalo? They have like a dark cloud over their sports, man.
Yeah,
So-
don't get me started. I mean, those 4 losses really kind of soured me to football. I really don't watch football anymore after that last loss. So
Oh my god.
I do, still I'm Buffalo fan. Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo,
Sabres, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And Sabres play the Odd, correct?
yeah, the old Odd was
The old Odd.
amazing. The old Odd was. I saw so many concerts there.
What was your first concert there?
Kiss on Dynasty
Of course it
Tour,
was Kiss.
January 1980. So that's
1980?
Yeah, 1980. A band called New England opened up.
The band was called New England?
Yeah,
Never heard of them.
yeah, really cool band.
New England. Okay.
But later on, probably this was 2009. I was doing a tour. We were about to start a tour of Europe,
Is that it?
and yeah,
45 years ago?
that's right.
Not a big deal? Sorry, man.
No, it's okay, man. But yeah, I met Paul Stanley in this hotel we were staying
met him?
at. Yeah.
Oh,
He
sick.
was coming out of his hotel room. I was walking down the hall with my girlfriend, and I had to go up to him and say hello. And,
Yeah.
I said, Paul, I just want to introduce myself. Chris Barnes, I used to be Cannibal Corpse singer. I'm 6 feet under. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tight.
I was like, yeah, the first concert I ever saw was Kiss on the Dynasty Tour, January of 1980. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, who opened for us? I was like, New England. He's like, that's right. He's like, great band, yeah. And I was like, I just want to thank you, man, because it was my first concert, and I think it really put me on a path, to become a musician. And, bumped fists, and he was really nice.
It was cool?
Yeah, he was really cool.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it was a good experience. So so I saw like, I'd have to say I saw hundreds. You'd probably like mention a band. It'd be easier to mention a band that I didn't see because I saw so many concerts growing up. I mean, so many. I mean, second concert was AC/DC on For Those About to Rock. Third concert was Ozzy Osbourne. A couple weeks after Randy Rhoads died on Diary of a Madman tour. Still, that's my all-time favorite concert I ever saw.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So you saw Randy Rhoads is ripping, dude.
He just had passed away. It was 2 weeks after he passed away.
It was after?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's
Yeah,
sad,
yeah.
dude. That sucks, dude.
Bernie Torme was the guitarist. It was before Brad Gillis joined on that tour.
So you, guess we just kick into it. So you went to high school with Bob, correct?
Bob Rusay and Paul Mazurkiewicz were also in my class. Yeah, 1986 was our.
Also, so Paul was in high school with you too.
Yeah, I knew Paul before I
that.
knew Bob. Actually, yeah.
I know that.
I grew up. Paul's house was like one street behind me. So we met when I moved in with my mom into the neighborhood. He was already there, and then we became friends. Like, we actually weren't friends right away. We were playing football in the street, and he didn't like something I said to him, and he chucked the ball at me right in the groin. So
you definitely said something fucked up. Like, fuck you, Paul. You suck. Yeah, dude.
So that was how we met, pretty much.
Wow, you're probably high and drunk, you know.
No, I don't think that at that point we weren't, but we did like smoking weed though early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first started to smoke?
I basically probably 1978. My dad, my dad and his wife were partiers. They liked to smoke weed. My dad grew weed a little bit, and he sold it. So like, I remember him having quarter pounds of like Acapulco Gold and Panama Red, the real Panama Red and Acapulco Gold. And I remember one afternoon I was going to go take a ride on my little Honda CT70 mini motorcycle, and took a couple of roaches out of the ashtray and went off riding with one of my friends, and we took a break by the railroad tracks and smoked some weed, and kind of the world opened up to me. Yeah,
as it does.
Yeah,
There's a whole other dimension.
It did. Everything got bright, and I was like, wow.
One last thing. So we got the poem into the horror movies. When did you start? So you started, which I didn't know this genre up until today, actually. So there's so I was thinking, like, what was Chris Barnes reading? Was it fiction or nonfiction? But then I found out there was something called true fiction.
Yeah.
When did those books come?
That was later.
Come into play? Yeah,
that was later. I didn't start really exploring that stuff until, like, right before Cannibal Corpse formed. Like, probably, I'd say, probably 87 or something.
Okay, so the timeline's pretty close. Okay, we got poem, movie. You're watching Ultraman.
Dude, you're blowing my mind right now, man. Like, really,
what's up, dude?
You have really dug down
what's
deep,
up, dude?
Man. Wow, man.
Fuck everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, because it hit
Godzilla,
me.
Ultraman. That was early on.
Yeah, that was so. I look at the timeline. Then everyone listening, watching, we're going to talk death metal, but I just want to set the whole stage because your lyrics are still. What I'm trying to do with this, Chris, is that I've been talking about this the past 6 months is randomly. Like, your lyrics are so different and there's something to them. So I'm trying to get the whole picture before we start talking about that.
Well,
so once I started doing digging, I'm like, Ultraman. I was an Ultraman fan. And I haven't heard someone actually say it other than me. I was like, oh, dude, Chris Barnes like Ultraman. Of course he does. Ultraman was sick. Dude.
Yeah, man.
Remember what was it? It was KB Toys.
Yeah.
And my mom bought me a Ultraman.
Mechanic Godzilla. Yeah.
Was Ultraman
That's the only suit left from Godzilla. The original suit is Mechanic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Was this Godzilla versus
Mechanic Godzilla? Yeah.
Oh, and Ultraman.
Mecha Godzilla.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So Ultraman was one of those shows where they took it from Japan, correct?
Yeah.
And they brought it.
It was on TV like on Sunday mornings or something, and I used to watch it like every Sunday when I was a kid.
Wow, me and Chris Barnes are watching Ultraman.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Fuck all you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that like triangle thing on his chest.
Yeah, and he'd kneel down or whatever.
Dude, I made one out of paper. He was sick. I think it was really cool.
Yeah,
Ultraman,
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah.
Man.
I loved Ultraman. I mean, I love Godzilla too. Last year I got back on this Godzilla trip where I started watching all the movies again from the first one all the way through.
Yeah.
And then I went to see the Godzilla versus Kong, that one at the theater, and just really enjoyed it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Ultraman.
Yeah, the first Godzilla is still the best, man. Gojira, right?
Gojira.
That's where they got the name from.
Yeah, now it's a fucking sick
now
ass
they're
band.
Grammy Award winners, right?
Wow, and it just happened too. Congrats to them, man. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tight.
Yeah, it is.
Putting heavy music on the map.
Why not? I mean, They all say, it's like when Metallica won everything, people are always like, well, it's great for metal. I don't know. It's great for us metalheads, really, right? Because do any of the normies really ever go like, oh, I'm a metalhead, I love Metallica now? Or like, do any of the normies, are they all going to be like, I'm
That's
a
the question.
Gojira fan, you know?
That's the question.
I don't know.
I don't know. And how do
It
you?
puts it out into the ether, I guess, a little bit more, but I don't know if like, if mom or dad Smith are gonna really like start digging Gojira.
Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. America are like,
it's true. I'm always like, yeah. How do you gauge that? Like, hey, are people gonna watch this and like,
yeah,
are they gonna like follow through? Okay, now I'm gonna listen on Spotify at least.
I
don't
think
know.
it maybe solidifies heavy metal as a true form of rock and roll and something that's more real than people give it credit.
Yeah. I'm waiting for bands like you guys to start slowly being like inductees of like the Hall of Fame.
Oh, well, our tour manager, she visited the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and voted for us. So
sick. I think this is a matter of time. I think death metal is going to be the first genre that eventually it's just going to come out of nowhere. Oh shit, they're going to allow now these bands are in the fucking, and then it's going to go death metal. So bands like you guys are going to be on the forefront. So this is my opinion. I think death metal is going to get in there because they can't deny it. They can't deny it anymore. And then once death metal gets in there, then it'll be new metal, and then hopefully be deathcore.
I think new metal. Chris, I think new metal will make it before death metal.
Think so?
Yeah, I think they'll induct Korn or Slipknot.
Yeah.
Before they do any of us death metal bands, because we're too scary for, we sing about some real heavy subject matter. And it's just not appealing to the mainstream still,
Yeah, it's true.
So
It's true.
I think, those guys like the Slipknot guys and the Korn guys will probably be inducted sooner than we think, probably,
Yeah.
because they've sold so many records, and they're kind of still in the shadows, but they've sold, platinum, big numbers, so, we're still the little guys, the death metal bands and stuff, I think.
You never know, man. You never know. You never know. Okay.
It's I didn't expect it to be this great, so I'm good with it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, so we got Ultraman. So you're going to high school with Paul.
With Paul and Bob, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a band that was Pre-Cannibal, right?
Yeah. It was
Tyrant.
It was actually called Satan's Angel first. I named the band Satan's Angel.
Of course you did. Nice.
But Paul's mom, and he'll tell you this, it's true. She thought it was too satanic. So I got to practice the one day, and he had changed the name to Tyrant Sin.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I'm outvoted again, So,
yeah.
But I had made T-shirts and everything in school, like
you made T-shirts,
printed them and everything in my art class, and so like it was me, Paul, and our friend Rich on bass, and I didn't have a PA, so I was singing out of Rich's other channel on this little bass amp.
It's tight.
Yeah. That's so cool. and then I had health class, and I met Bob. Bob was in my health class, and I was like, this dude's cool, man. He's got Hellbent for Leather painted on his jean vest,
Fuck yeah, he does.
Yeah. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, we're like getting this band together. Do you want to be in this band? And so I brought Bob over to Paul's house, and because he played guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And so and Paul played drums because his cousin was a really good drummer, and Paul kind of learned how to play drums through him. And Rich played bass. He was really a good bass player. He took lessons. And before that, though, when we were like, see, this all started from like all four of us, we would we would like hang out in our friends' bedrooms, and we would like put on our favorite metal band record, and we would all like airband to the music, right? That was a big thing back then, was like airbanding,
I never heard that word ever. Airbanding?
You'd pretend to be in the band and like jam.
That's a way to start a band. We're going to be an airband.
That's right. And we actually entered airband competitions.
Excuse me?
We did. Yeah, we did. And
so there's multiple airbands.
Our school had like a school dance, and it was an airband competition.
Oh, what?
On stage. So even other friends that I was hanging out with, not with Paul, Rich, and Bob, but these other dudes, we entered the school airband competition and did Run to the Hills, Iron Maiden.
Okay.
So we didn't win, but so I entered that one, right? And then like when we started, me and Paul and Rich and Bob started doing it, this was before we even picked up instruments. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want to play bass. And they were like, no, Paul was like, you look more like a singer. So that's how I like became a singer.
That's how you became a singer?
Yeah, was being a singer in an air band.
Wow,
so then like, we
that's
entered this air band competition, and we did Manowar, Kill with Power. And it was for a radio station. It was a pretty big, they sponsored it, this radio station, like locally in Buffalo. And we won it. So we won this frickin' airband competition there we go, there's some airbanding. So we did Kill with Power by Manowar because we loved Manowar. And we won it. So then like, we were like, well, we can fake it pretty good, so why not? Let's try to pick up some instruments. And that's when we started practicing in Paul's basement, in his finished basement. And Paul played drums, Rich played bass, I sang, Bob played guitar. And the first song we ever tried to play was Dethroned Emperor by... I think it was Hellhammer,
Okay.
Celtic Frost, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but yeah. So, Celtic Frost, so. Yeah.
Okay. Got the cowbell?
Heavy as hell, man. I love this song.
When did this come out?
What, probably...
it
must have been like
I hear it.
85, something like that, right? 84 maybe.
Okay, so I'm born 85, and you're in your air band, and we're
just starting a band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
going good.
So, yeah, Tyrant Sin kind of kept going, and
then then how did you meet?
Cover songs. We were just playing cover songs.
Playing covers.
Yeah.
The Frost, Manowar, Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
There it is, dude.
Yep, Mutant Supremacy, yeah.
Did you put that on?
Well, the thing with that one was...
Mutant Supremacy, let's go.
Yeah. So I quit Tyrant Sin at one point, and then this is a pretty long story, but what happened was... I was hanging out with one of my friends who was a drummer, and I was doing cover songs with him in his basement, and like Dokken and Van Halen and all sorts of stuff like that. It was horrible at the regular metal. Like I could sing the Celtic Frost stuff. That was like okay, but like trying to sing like Rob Halford or David Lee Roth, I really wasn't that good at it. So, anyways. So we went to see this band Cro-Magnon at this skating rink in Lackawanna outside of Buffalo, and just so happens the bass player in Cro-Magnon was Robbie Goo from the Goo Goo Dolls, who ended up being in the Goo Goo Dolls, right?
Oh, wow.
So they lost their singer, Cro-Magnon did. So I was like, oh, that band's awesome. I'm going to try to audition for them. So, like, I practiced in my room and got ready for it, and I auditioned for this band Cro-Magnon. They were doing original music. It was not cover songs.
Nice.
So I auditioned for him, and then I never heard from him. So I called Robbie. I'm like, you know, what do you guys think? And they're like, man, you're just too much. You're too thrash.
Mm.
You're too thrash for us. That's
Yeah.
what he said. So I was like, okay. And
Too
so
thrash
like,
and too high too. Too high.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So like, it was like basically a couple months later, I got a call from this kid at practicing at this rehearsal space called Absolute Storage. And he calls me, his name was Jeff, and he calls me, he's like, hey, Robbie gave me your phone number. He says, you're a thrash metal vocalist. We're looking for someone. Do you want to come down and audition? And I'm like, no, I'm kind of not really into doing that. I wanted to really sing like regular metal. So I said no, but he called me back like 2 weeks later. He's like, are you sure you don't want to come down? Just come down and check us out. So I had a friend of mine drive me to Buffalo. It was like a 20-minute ride. Got to this rehearsal space, got off the elevator, and I'm hearing this fucking band, man. It sounded like Slayer. I could hear this drummer, man. Like, it was incredible. This kid was how he was playing the drums. I got to the door. I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. So I kind of walked in with my friend, and I kind of was like playing it cool, like, you know. But I was blown away when they played the music for me. Like, this drummer, he was 16 years old, and I'm telling you, man, he was as good as Dave Lombardo in 1987. He was 16, and he just incredible, man. So like, this band's name was Leviathan, and I joined them, and they were playing all original music. So I just started going to Buffalo and rehearsing with these guys, and we started writing music together. And the name of the there it is, yeah, the name of our first demo was Legions of the Undead. And just phenomenal. This kid Angelo Lococo, the drummer, he freaking, I'm not kidding you, man. It's sending a shiver down my spine right now. But I sat in his room one time, and he played Neil Peart's drum solo from Exit Stage Left. And if you were blindfolded, you would think you were listening to Neil Peart. He played along to that solo beat for beat, every tom hit, everything.
Just a freak.
He was a freak of nature. I mean, he could play. He would think you were in the room with John Bonham. He could play like John Bonham at like 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
He was really a prodigy, and he's still probably the greatest drummer I've ever played with. So these guys were like, it's really my favorite band I've ever been with, because it's just really it's my real start. There we are right there.
Wow, there it is.
Yeah. And just
1987.
Yeah. So, but
Look at that logo.
yeah. Well, that's something someone did.
Okay, well,
the other logos kind of
don't fucking lie to me, dude. You fucking drew that logo.
that's the logo.
There it is. Okay,
and Jeff,
cool.
the guitarist's girlfriend, drew that. So
A little bit better. That's cool. Nice.
But it was really such an incredible time for me with that band. But we broke up, and I rejoined Tyrant Sin to do that Mutant Supremacy demo. And after a few months, Tyrant Sin kind of broke up, and we all kind of stopped. But me, Rich, Bob, and Paul were working, doing drywall finishing together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were drywall finishers. And I remember we were all in the same room. Actually, it was our other friend Scott. He was going to play bass, and he did play bass for a little bit. But I was like, look, we're all a band in the same room. We were smoking joints. It was on our break during finishing drywall.
Yeah.
So we let's reform. Let's make a new band. So we went down to this weird rehearsal space and started practicing. And I think we were together maybe a couple weeks, and we found out that that Alex and Jack's band Beyond Death had broken up and became available.
Oh,
So
timing.
yeah, so Alex and Jack came over to the rehearsal studio with me, Paul, and Bob, and that's when Cannibal Corpse was born. So,
Wow.
yeah.
It's timing, man. When someone like when you hear, that's happened to me. When you hear like someone's band broke up, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
those two
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Somebody
Yeah.
call them. Someone call them. It's the timing, man. It's fate, you know.
Yeah, it was. It was. So
And
Alex named the band Cannibal Corpse, and the first song we wrote was A Skull Full of Maggots.
are you serious?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So, I heard that you write lyrics high, correct?
I did, yeah. Every single song that I wrote lyrics for was with the use of cannabis, except for one, which I wrote on Killing for Revenge, When the Moon Goes Down in Blood. The only song I did a full song of lyrics for on that album. But that's when I had quit. I had quit smoking weed and, drinking. I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer, just
Yeah.
so people know.
There's a quote, verbatim quote, Chris Barnes. I smoke a joint, kind of sit back and just kind of hang out. And I was like, and the way you would, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of your subject matter. You said you would sit and you get the music first, correct?
The music, yeah, always comes first.
Okay, and then you would sit with and you sit with like a subject matter, and then you just kind of go into that.
Yeah, like through the use of cannabis, I would really meditate and go into like just a meditative state where I would let the music speak to me, and maybe within my archive of song titles or album titles, I would hear something would tell me what it was. And a lot of people, like a lot of death metal vocalists, just do a blanket type of death metal vocal style to their stuff. I let the music speak to me, and that dictates what my vocal tone's going to be or what my approach is going to be, So, like, I don't think of myself, I am a death metal vocalist, but I don't think of myself as a death metal vocalist. It's the lyrics and the song that dictates, like, if I'm going to have a vocal approach like Feasting on the Blood of the Insane, or a vocal approach like, even in Cannibal, like a vocal approach of Stripped, Raped, and Strangled, or Hammer Smashed Face, or even songs on the same album are slightly different tonally, or attack, So the lyrics of the song are really important to me because I like a story, and I like to tell a story, and I like there to be a theme. I don't want it to it can't just be words, like spouting off words. It's got to tell a story, and sometimes telling the story takes me away from being just a solid guttural death metal vocalist, and it's kind of a trade-off, and I find it to be more important to tell the story the way the song kind of needs to be, it needs to feel, Yeah, so I get a lot of criticism because people think that I'm like my vocals in Cannibal Corpse, like I'm not that anymore. But I never really dwelled on that. Even when I was in the band, I never really tried to be the same on every album. I mean, you can really I can tell, like, the vocals are, even from Butchered at Birth to Tomb of the Mutilated, they're different. From Tomb to The Bleeding, they're really different.
Yeah.
I mean, Eaten Back to Life, they're nothing like any of the other four.
Yeah.
Not even close. I mean, people say, well, you were just starting out. But, you know, I mean, I was feeling my way through it at that point. Something clicked, though, on the last song for that album, which was Buried in the Backyard. That was the last song we wrote on Eaten Back to Life. And
What clicked?
the guttural thing, I think
Okay.
I like discovered it within myself, like that like the matching of the sound of the distortion, the guitars to like the vocals being within that, like in a way, like at one with it. So that's what I really started focusing on. That was
What's
after that. Wrong logo, but
Jay, you literally read. That's a updated cover, but you literally read my
that
mind.
was the shitty remasters that they did to try to destroy my performance.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Let's go. I was going to ask you. I wanted you to see that cover, and then
Yeah,
I was wondering like what I wanted to know, like maybe like a single off the top memory that you have from
that cover was well. I loved Vince Locke's work on Dead World Comics and stuff. So I kind of, there's a story, I kind of stalked him down. I hunted him down, and you know, this was before the internet. This was 1980, 89 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I called up information. I saw on Dead World Comics like where he lived in Michigan.
Yeah.
Or so like I found out where he lived like generally. So I called up information in Michigan. I said, you know, I'm looking for Vincent Locke. And she gave me the number, and I called him up. I said, Vince, I'm Chris Barnes. I'm in a band called Cannibal Corpse. I would like you to do our album cover. And he was like, oh, okay. He's a very, really mild-mannered type of person, but he was interested, and it was just wild. So anyways, he started working on Eating Back to Life.
Sense.
That's So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
if you look at that, that's number one or that's number two. That's number two. He actually last year he gave me number one and number two signed.
Wow.
But
that's
so he wanted like the funny thing about it is I've never met him.
You never met him?
No. I mean, we just talked the other day on Instagram. He sent me a message. He's like, Chris, I didn't know you were in Grand Rapids. I thought it was in February. And I'm like, I should have told you or something because we were talking. But I don't know. The universe we haven't met yet in all these years.
Okay, so you already
36 years.
36 years. Haven't met him.
No.
Well, now you got to do another tour.
Yeah, I will. But the thing is, my memory of Eating Back to Life is him sending it to me and me opening that package up and seeing that, and it blew me away.
Did it?
Only to be seconded by When I Got Butchered at Birth, and I opened that. I was the first person to see that too. And when I saw Butchered at Birth, I knew something was going to happen because that album cover is the ultimate death metal album cover still to this day.
It is. That's the ultimate cover, dude.
Yeah, and when I saw that,
what the fuck?
When I saw that and I opened it, I was like, holy fuck. Something's going to happen because the music, to me, that's the best album.
The thing about
it's really important.
The thing about your second record is even when people talk about it today, it's like, dude, that's a fucking brutal death metal record.
Yeah.
To everything, like the songs, the vocals, it's like a perfect, insanely brutal record. But that's what
1991.
One.
Yeah.
It's like fuck, dude. So this question ties into the first two covers. He already had some experience with kind of that artwork. Did you tell him like, hey, these are the lyrics?
I send him the lyrics. He always wants to work off of like certain themes from the lyrics. So yeah, for Eating Back to Life, I sent him the lyrics. For
I wonder what he thought, man.
For Killing for Revenge, I sent him the lyrics that, because he did that album cover.
Yeah.
So he gained the idea for Killing for Revenge from the song Accomplice to Evil Deeds, which is set in a kind of a shack. Jack wrote the lyrics for that, but it's
that makes sense.
You accompanied to a shack, down.
And real quick, this record just came out.
Yeah, last year, May.
So we got to tell the world.
Yeah, Killing for Revenge.
What month did it come out?
It came out of May. I don't want to.
May? Nice.
Yeah, like second week in May, I think. May 13th or May 11th, something like that.
So it's probably a little bit easier to find them, right?
It is. Now it is. Yeah.
A little bit easier.
Yeah.
It's just an IG DM. Boom.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to woman cover?
Yeah. It was interesting because we had talked about it probably 20 years ago. Like, I was like, man, I'd love you to do the 6 Feet Under album cover. And he was like, yeah, man, sure. And we just never got together on it. And then I said something to Jack about it when we were working on Killing for Revenge. He was like, at the end of it. And he was like, yeah, that would be really cool. So.
What did you... Okay, so you mentioned that you feel something was going to happen when you saw that album cover. Did you, what was like what were you thinking and feeling?
I just
gonna get fucking banned, or what's like?
I didn't think that, but I think Metal Blade might have. It did cause a lot of controversy when they released it, to the point where they had to re-release it with. They had the idea to wrap it in butcher's paper with the logo on it.
Oh, that's hard.
As a censored version, because a lot of places wouldn't take it. So it caused a lot of controversy, but in the same time, it really propelled the band. Eating Back to Life did really well too. People still tell me, I saw this long box of the CD cases, and this album cover was,
Wow.
So yeah, I still have a original one that's in the butcher paper still somewhere.
So you're the first one to see it. It's like, what? This is.
Yeah.
This is the
I just
cover.
thought it was something was going to happen. Like, I thought the band was just going to propel us, like, for some reason. Just like when I was writing the lyrics to Haunted, I had a vision in my head of, like, being on stage in front of the fans and them enjoying those songs on Haunted. It's right when I was writing Lycanthropy, and I wrote Haunted 5 minutes, like the rest of the songs from Haunted, I wrote 5 minutes after I got done writing the lyrics for The Bleeding.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That
There it
makes
is.
sense.
There's an original right there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's yellowed from time, but yeah, it used to be completely white.
Wow, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, can you pull up the next record, Tomb?
Yeah. Now, this one, I told Vince the idea for the cover. I was like, yeah. I said I wanted a corpse performing cunnilingus on a female corpse. So that's what he came up with. And then Metal Blade wanted a censored cover, which is,
Of course.
the brown tones. Yeah. Which,
Oh, yeah,
and I personally, I hate to say it because the other cover was my idea. I like the censored cover better, actually.
Really?
But when I talked to Vince to doing Killing for Revenge, I said, man, I love the color tone of the censored Tomb of the Mutilated. Can we use like that as a theme for Killing for Revenge? And he's like, oh yeah, I like that. So
What up?
but like I came up with the album title, Tomb of the Mutilated, and I came up with the album title, The Bleeding, and Paul came up with the album title for Eaten Back to Life and for Butchered at Birth.
Nice.
Yeah.
What? So
That's an interesting.
when you see this cover, what memories does it spark for you in the band and that time?
Um, it sparks that photo shoot. It sparks the Complete Control tour that we did with Agnostic Front, Obituary, and
Well, shit,
Malevolent
that's a tour.
Creation in this July and August. Well, it was almost, yeah, 2.5 months in the summer of 1992.
Mm.
And then Tomb of the Mutilated came out like right at the tail end of the tour. So we were playing Hammer Smash Face on that tour, and people were going nuts for it. But I have different memories about it. A lot of it has to do with being in the studio recording that album, and that was kind of, there was personal problems going back to Butchered at Birth, but there was professional differences and things that started during Tomb of the Mutilated, where Scott Burns kind of got between things, and I thought overstepped really as far as being a producer and just concentrating on making a good sounding record. He didn't want Bob to play any of the rhythm tracks.
Mm.
And he wanted Jack to do all the rhythm tracking. And it caused a big rift in the band. And it isolated Bob. I think it really hurt his feelings.
I've been there. It sucks.
Yeah, and it really, I still to this day, I'm getting choked up talking about it because Bob was like my best friend in the band, I thought, and I didn't like the idea of it, but I was, and Jack didn't either, but I was outvoted, and I was always outvoted. But and people will say, "Oh, Barnes just won't let go of these things, or he's still holding on to these things." I'm not. I'm just telling a story, I don't. Being kicked out of Cannibal Corpse was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in my career as a musician or a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I was so unhappy. I had gotten so weird with like people clicking up within the band and stuff, and it started kind of early on. I don't want to get into any specifics. It's not fair to talk about stuff but I didn't like that Bob wasn't involved in tracking the guitars, and so it hurt his feelings, and it wasn't necessary. His guitar playing was great. If I have to say, he wasn't the weak link in the band at all. I mean, I don't want to say who was or who still is, but the way I see it, So it just kind of, that whole thing just kept snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
And to the EP, even when we did the cover songs for Zero the Hero and The Exorcist by Possessed, when we did the Hammer Smash Face EP. And again, outvoted. Bob didn't do any of the rhythms on that, any of the guitar tracks for the rhythm tracks.
Like, was it just too? Because I heard you mention that, like, you've always, which it took some pretty deep diving to find this, but like you said that there's always personal tension, always. But I was like, well, he went to high school with this guy, so it's kind of like, but sometimes that just happens. Like you just, like you're like there's ego. But
it wasn't really too much ego, I don't think. I mean, there was arguments and stuff and fist fights.
The fist fight, let's go.
Yeah. And and I take, you know, responsibility for being an idiot, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I always have had a short fuse, I guess, you
Yeah.
know. But I've been working on that. So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Still working on it.
yeah, yeah. So
We're all still working on it.
yeah, man, yeah. So you know, it just was stupid stuff, and yeah. So there was always kind of a underlying thing like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think there was. I think there was jealousy, and I didn't feel like I was respected like a lot of the times
Mm.
because I didn't play an instrument. I was just a vocalist, you know. But I was getting a lot of attention. People wanted to talk to me in the press, and that wasn't my fault. But you
Yeah.
know, so I think that I've been told that that was kind of an underlying thing,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah,
But
and you're way younger. You don't really know how to like handle it.
no,
You know.
no, not really. I wasn't. I don't feel like I've ever had an ego, and people might go,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But no, I mean, I don't think of myself as like. I don't like. It surprises me when people talk to me like, and tell
Mm.
me stories like that. And it's like I don't think of myself as anybody but just a regular dude that walks down to the corner store and talks to people that work there, and you know, like I just am a regular guy. Like I don't in
Mm-hmm.
my daily life I rehearse, but I don't think of myself as I'm a fucking vocal god or some shit. I don't think of that, you know. I'm not saying I am at all. I'm just of how other people view me, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really. As far as that goes, I'm pretty egoless as far as that goes. I just want to do a good job, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
work hard. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always had a good work ethic as far as being a musician. So I just I didn't feel appreciated in that band, and those guys they had certain ways of like poking at you, and I just at one point I just didn't want to be around them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started demoing stuff out for 6 Feet Under, it was like something so different. There wasn't any of that type of
Mm-hmm.
like chaos. And
Was that kind of like when you felt like not respected? Was that kind of like did that kind of open up the pathway? Hey, maybe I could start something else. What's maybe I could
yeah, pretty
maybe
much like
maybe
when
I could help Alan.
yeah, well what happened
Shoot.
was we were on that tour in '92 and we were in New Mexico in Albuquerque at the did a show at the university there, and I got off the bus and Trevor was there, so I started walking with Trevor. We were gonna go smoke a
Legend.
joint or something. Yeah. So and I was like, man, I love that meat hook seed thing that you're doing, that side project. I was like,
Mm,
I really want to start a side project, but I was gonna ask you, but you're already doing one because
mm,
Trevor, I knew Trevor more than the other guys pretty much. He's like, Big Al's got some songs. He's been wanting to do something. I'm like, oh, I haven't met Al yet and on the
mm,
tour. He's like, oh, you haven't met Al? He's like, come on, we'll go and smoke up there in the bus with. So I met Al, and Trevor was like, he
mm.
wants to do a side project, and Al's like, yeah, I've got some songs. You know, Al's a really kind of
Yeah.
you know conservative dude and stuff, and he's like, yeah. So we started talking, and then we just kept talking. Early '93, I'd go down to um, Tampa from Buffalo and demo some stuff out, you know. So just started working like that, and
Mm.
it was fun. It was just really fun. We were doing like 4-track recordings and stuff in some guy's trailer, and
Nice.
yeah, in like Riverview or something. So
Nice.
yeah,
And were would those songs eventually become
yeah, they were
haunted?
yeah, like we did. I think the first 3 songs were like human. Well, the first song was Still Alive, Human Target, and I think it was maybe Tomorrow's Victim.
So you're doing these songs, and also at the same. Was this during like the Bleeding touring time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, no, it wasn't during Bleeding. It would have been in '93 because we it was after Bob got kicked out of the band. So
Uh oh.
yeah, yeah, because I met my girlfriend at the time on the '93 tour in like March or April. So then I would go down and visit her in Florida and then demo stuff out with Al. So it was probably like summer of '93. So it would have still been on like Tomb of the Mutilated
Oh,
touring cycle.
I didn't know that it was that soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Man, that was
yeah. So
yeah. You had a feeling.
I did. And what happened was, so I finished writing all the songs for Haunted after I got done with the lyrics for The Bleeding in December of '94. And, you know, then we did the Bleeding tours. I mean, it was like we had 3 months off in '94, but, so it was like 9 months of touring that whole year for that album. And so then basically in end of September of '94, I think I had just gotten back from the Concrete Foundations Forum in California and LA, which was an awesome deal. I went '93 and '94, and it was so much fun. But I got back at the end of September and went to rehearsal, and I was just like, so you guys, I just overheard someone talking about Florida, and I'm like, so you guys are moving to Florida? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I was like, they never even asked me to move to
Really?
Florida. So I just was like, all right, I had met my my would-be wife at that Foundations Forum in '94, so we were crazy about each other. So I packed up everything, and they went by themselves, and I drove down by myself and moved to Florida. So moved in with her, and we got married like 4 or 5 months later. But
Nice.
yeah, so it was kind of wild. Yeah.
Yeah, some weirdness.
Yeah, it
It's
was
like,
really weird. So
yeah, my band said they're gonna move somewhere. Didn't tell me.
yeah,
I'll be fucking pissed.
it was strange, man. I felt really like what's going on, But so, yeah, that's I think things were really just weird from that point. And then, '95, we were working on Created to Kill, which became Vile.
Yeah.
That whole year pretty much. Like, it was a hard album for me to write lyrically because the music was so different. It was really like technical, and it was really a tough album for me to roadmap the vocal parts out on. I worked really hard on that album.
Did you?
And I loved it. I thought it was some of the best work I had done. It was really interesting to me because, and I collaborated with Alex on a song, Bloodlands. He wrote half of it, and he's like, okay, finish it off. And that was really cool because I hadn't done that since Eaten Back to Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone up to rehearsal, and I'd been rehearsing with them, and they heard my vocals. They heard the lyric, they heard everything, just like every other rehearsal for every other album we put together. But Paul says to this day he didn't really hear how it sounded until I got in the studio, which is bullshit. They heard what I was doing and they didn't say anything bad about it until we were in the studio and Scott Burns started playing producer and trying to have me change things that he didn't think were right, but I felt were really interesting. And I changed some stuff. I did. I changed some stuff, and it wasn't good enough for him, But it's funny because they used my roadmap for the lyrics and the vocals that they rewrote, but they didn't think it was good enough the way I was doing it, but they still used the roadmap for all the vocal parts for Vile after they kicked me out of the band. So it came down to I was in the middle of that session for Created to Kill, and we were 6 Feet Under was about to go on our first tour of the States in '95 for Haunted, and they wanted me to cancel it to finish the record the way they wanted to. And I was like, I'm not canceling this tour, guys. I'll finish this when I get back. And I went out on the road, and it was amazing. In that tour in '95, I was like free. And I was like, I saw the crowds just like I saw when I was writing Lycanthropy, the 2 years before or whatever. And I was like, the shows were packed. It was awesome, And I came back and pretty much Alex called me and was like, we're going to go a different direction with the vocals. And I laughed, man. And I think it surprised him. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, no problem, man. Because I was just fucking high from that tour, man. And the crowds and just like being out there with the new band. And it was effortless. It was an effortless transition for me. So that might be at the showcase, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was incredible. It was just I didn't cry. I wasn't unhappy that I got kicked out of Cannibal Corpse. I literally felt like a weight had been taken off my shoulders. So, and I think it really surprised Alex that I didn't argue with them and I didn't ask why even. So that's why it was just the best thing that ever happened to me as far as being a musician was being out of that band. And a lot of people think I'm sour about it. I'm not. I never was.
I think that's always the question people have. It's like, Chris Barnes is bitter.
Yeah, no, and I'm not. And even Brian Slagle told me last night. I mean, it's something that's true. In the mid '90s, 6 Feet Under was bigger than Cannibal Corpse. We sold more records. We were a bigger band touring wise.
Something that people don't talk about you, Chris. So one of my things is if I'm ever around an OG that's done something, I always say it publicly because they don't. People just forget because all these new bands keep coming out. Oh, this is this. People don't know that 6 Feet Under is one of the top selling death metal bands of all time, and to be in two. Now Cannibal was, and then two bands. That's crazy.
And when we're talking about physical sales, when it really meant something, when someone I mean, I don't have single gold records or platinum records on the wall, but I have a gold record from four or five albums that that reached 500,000 copies. For a death metal band, that's pretty freaking amazing. And for my time in Cannibal Corpse, there's a couple albums that they did after, like Vile and Gallery of Suicide and one other.
Yeah.
But there's a platinum record that I was involved in helping to achieve with the 4 albums that I sang on for Cannibal Corpse. So to me, I'm so proud of that, and when you say that we're one of the top selling 6 Feet Under of death metal bands, we're number 4 in Nielsen SoundScan, for the time when there was physical sales. So I am very proud of that,
Should be.
because, and like you said, two bands that are incredible still to this day.
To this day, yeah.
You know, so
People forget.
yeah, people forget, and people weren't there at the time. Like you showed that show that I think was from Corona from our first tour. People weren't there, man. They didn't see how intense those shows were. You know, before the internet, they were controlled fucking chaos. It was insanity. Like even when I was in Cannibal Corpse, some of the things that I saw you could never see it again. Like the Milwaukee Metal Fest in '92, that crowd was just insane. It was at I was at one of the Coliseums. It wasn't at the Eagles Club. That was the one where they moved it. But there's some footage from that that's just out. It's insane what the crowd was doing. It was and just certain things. Like I remember playing the Thirsty Whale in Chicago, and I don't like to hang out backstage or something, so I would like try to find a way out of the gig. So like I would stage dive, and literally the crowd that night carried me, crowd surfed me all the way from the stage out to the back of the club, and I landed at the fucking at the entrance of the club and just opened the door and walked out of a packed club. Yeah, this is
this it? Can we crank this shit? Like fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, Mecca Arena.
That is literally death metal. It's like at its finest, dude.
Yeah.
Should be very, very proud.
Yeah.
People forget, dude. Fuck them.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I can take the criticism. Some people say I don't because I just block people, but
yeah,
I do because I don't want to engage in shit that you can't win with people nowadays on the internet.
You can't, dude. Dude,
and there'll be thousands of comments on this,
Yeah.
and people ripping me to shreds. Like, I wish you would just shut up or something. And they're gonna say that. Yeah, I wish you would.
Yeah,
but so what?
They should shut up. Is Corpsegrinder still blocked?
I haven't had him blocked.
No.
No. In fact, on Instagram I follow him, and I don't know if he follows me, but at one point. At one point, I confronted him because I saw a video on YouTube where during a live performance, he's poked at me pretty good, and I wrote him because I was like, look, man, I never have said anything nasty about you at all. I don't know why you're doing this on stage about me, you know. And I said, we met. And I thought everything was cool that one time. And listen, I'll give you my phone number if you want to. I still have the message. I'll show it to you. But I said, you know, if you want to talk on the phone, I'll give you my phone number. We can talk it over. And you know, I sent him the link to the YouTube video, and magically it disappeared after that. But he never responded to me. He saw the message because it said seen, but he wouldn't talk to me about it. So, and I mean, I don't think he sings my songs very well, but
Chris.
you know, I think he walks through them, you know, and on this tour of 3 nights, I poked back at him a little bit just because, you know, I felt like it was funny, but it was all in good humor.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, I've been around him, and I guess something else. I think there's a genuine love there. Maybe you see like the other side.
I mean, I saw a couple interviews with him where he said that he believed that my songs that I wrote are more his now, and that really upsets me because they'll never be his. He's a karaoke singer when it comes to my songs. You know, he is. Those aren't his songs. He says they're his songs because he's sung them more times than I have.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't write them. He doesn't get publishing checks from them. Those are my songs. Those lyrics are from my brain. And for him to insult me that way, it's I take that really serious, and I think that that's so ignorant and just so just wrong, you know. And I think it's wrong that he even signs the CDs that, you know, or the album covers that he didn't perform on, you know. I don't sign Gallery of Suicide, you know.
You don't?
No, why would I? I wasn't on it.
Yeah.
You know? So, hey, if he wants to settle it like getting in a race car on a track so you can drive better. But I know he doesn't know how to drive, so I'd probably win that race too.
Man, I think you guys just need to get in a room or something, man. Just talk.
Though listen, man, I tried to. I've got no problem with him. Like I said, when I met him, I thought everything was cool, you know, because we got into a room. We were at an Iron Maiden concert in one of the boxes. Slagle kind of got us all together in the same room, and I was talking to him. I was having a good time talking about video games, you know. So I'm a Call of Duty guy. He's a Warcraft guy. So
yeah,
two different types of games, but
man.
So I you know, I respect that he's been a great vocalist for the band for many years. I just don't like being poked at. I've never done anything to the guy, you know. So
yeah, I was wondering. I knew like something probably sparked it. Cause sometimes I see something online and it pokes me. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only human. I'm gonna get
we're all
pissed off about stuff.
We're all human, man.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts my feelings. A lot of things hurt my feelings, you know. People like to make fun of me, you know.
What I do love about you, Chris, is that you don't, you don't mind being hated.
No, that's okay. I like it.
I'm okay. And then we'll close off the subject. I love your bio.
My bio on Wikipedia.
No, on IG.
Oh. That's just me making fun.
I know. Yeah, it's all fun.
Yeah.
Man. It's all fun. Let's go, dude. Let's go. To close off the George thing, he is a pure-hearted guy.
He is. He is.
Honestly, dude, there's only one.
No, he's done good things. I mean,
there's only one other human on this planet that could do what he's doing. It's him. He loves death metal so much.
No, he does.
It might be unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's like he eats it for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't. He just does it. You know. So I have respect for him. It's just cool. I wish people had a little more respect from that camp for me, but they have their reasons not to. So
sure.
And I'm not gonna. I mean, I reached out to Alex the other day. Me and Jack thought it would be cool to have him come up when we played Portland to, play bass on Strip for Hammer.
I've been sick as fuck.
But he passed. So.
Oh man, it would have been special.
We knew he wasn't going to do it, but I told him, I said, those songs are so important to us all. I thought you might want to, but I don't know what grudge they're holding against me, but they just don't like me. So it's okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm happier, and I've been happier in 6 Feet Under than than with those guys. I mean, those songs that I wrote with them, they are really important to me. That's why we still do a couple of them. So
yeah. So you're out of Cannibal. Slagle's pissed.
He was pissed.
Slagle's fucking pissed.
He was pissed.
And what? And okay. Anyway, like, so the band maybe didn't like your lyrics or the way this whatever or Scott Burns, but then you do Haunted, and it just does. It's sick.
Yeah.
It does very well.
Yeah.
So, were you doing the at the same process? Were you just like sitting back? We're getting these like songs. Okay, I'm gonna sit back, smoke a joint, and just like think about where's this going.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like beneath a black sky. I was just smoking weed, and a storm was coming in, and I just looked to the sky. It's turning black, and that's where the lyric came from. The beginning of the song, it just started, and it just went from there. Like, there's been a couple songs over the years that, like, I'll come back to a song and have to take a break, or I'll just be sitting there listening to it over and over, and I'll write certain things down and see where it goes. But, like, for Stripped, Raped, and Strangled and Feasting on the Blood of the Insane, those two songs I wrote straight through as the song played.
Really?
Like, almost the whole thing. My pen never lifted off the paper. When the song stopped on the cassette, I kept writing, and Feasting was the same way. Like, those songs, like, literally wrote themselves.
What do you think that was?
Well, I'm like, it's very spiritual, and it's very supernatural. Like, I'm not like, I think that cannabis it opens up something in your mind as far as you're an antenna. I believe in the ether, that there are ideas already formed in the ether, that songs, art, paintings, I think as an artist, you're tuned in. I use cannabis. Other people have used other ways to achieve it, but I believe that these things are already there, and that if you're in tune with the ether, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that those things come to you, and you're just an antenna for those things. And I think that I just believe in that. I believe that there's a hall of records that exists, that all things are there, and it's timeless, and it's there, and you. That's why when you sit down and try to force writing something, you get writer's block. It's not the time. It's not ready to come to you, It's very, to me, it's very supernatural. Like, I don't understand it either, but other people have talked about it.
Yeah, I've always wondered, man. Like, there's something else. There's something else in there.
Because I'm not.
Something else in there.
I want to say I'm not that smart to write the storylines that I've written, but so I don't understand it really myself, and I haven't really talked about it too much. Sometimes in my cameo videos I'll talk about it, but
dude, your cameo videos become news. That is wild, dude.
I love them. I love doing those so much.
Yeah,
I do. I love talking to the fans like that.
It's cool,
and
man.
Or just birthday wishes and stuff. I just love it. I love doing those. I get choked up thinking about them.
Yeah. People still hit you up. Do you get pissed though when they put it up on a fucking YouTube?
What, that one that from just like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Nah, I just didn't know that it was gonna become clickbait. But that's it. I felt like it was true what I was talking about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder, this made me think, like, is there something that you could put, like, hey, this legally, like, you can't share this? Like, is there something that you can do? Or when it's out, it's out?
If I would have known what it was going to be used for, and I talked to the kid when we played Leesburg on this tour, and he was like, I just put it up. I didn't know it was going to be picked up by Blabbermouth. So I don't think he knew it either. He just put it up on some random YouTube channel. It wasn't even like his usual YouTube channel. So, I mean,
It's fucking Chris Barnes. People are going to click on it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's just cool.
I mean,
it happens.
He should have paid the business price, though, if it was going to be like that, which is like $500. Not many people want to do that. They want to, like, oh, can you mention my band name and stuff? I'm like, man, you got to pay the business price for
you gotta pay
that.
the business. This gonna be on YouTube.
Because you're going to use it forever, man.
This is gonna be on YouTube in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, the good news is they're not monetizing it because you gotta have at least 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So at least it's not.
No, I don't care about it, man. It doesn't matter to me. It's out there. It's cool. I don't care. I said what I said, and they can use it. I don't,
Yeah. What is, especially at a time now, Chris, like people just are so like, especially bands are just like, they're just afraid to lose what they have, so they just don't speak their mind. Because if I speak their mind, if I speak my mind, maybe I won't get a tour.
Yeah,
it's just like,
well,
man, what?
Well, why would you do that to yourself?
Man, I love talking shit, dude.
Yeah,
it's fun.
No, I've gotten myself in trouble, man.
Yeah,
I said some stuff that, I mean, I kind of got about a Suicide Silence song that was.
Hey, Chris,
Can I
speak on that real quick?
Yeah, of course you can. I mean,
I remember that. And
yeah.
What the thing is, Chris, you were right. You said something, and that was a weird.
But dude, Chris, I destroyed a friendship over something stupid I said that was tongue in cheek, and I shouldn't have said what I said because it could have really hurt somebody. Mm-hmm. And I want to apologize to him about that, but he's got me blocked. Mm-hmm. And I can't, and I think it really upset him to the point where he won't even play 6 Feet Under on the station anymore. And he was a good friend, and I shouldn't have. It was so petty and so stupid of me to say something like that. And I'm pretty ashamed of that, actually. I'd like a chance to apologize to him over that. Mm-hmm. And I was friends with your singer, and I feel like that, I apologize to you right now over that, because I don't think that it wasn't about that. It wasn't anything, it was just me being butthurt over something, that I shouldn't have been, because there's room for everybody at the table.
There is, that's my main belief. There's room for everybody.
Yeah.
But I still like talking shit.
I do too, but I would never go there like that. And that was, believe me, man, I got a call right after I said that. Slagle was so fucking pissed at me.
Really?
Yeah, man. And I didn't really, I should have thought, that it was a real stupid thing to do. And I really feel bad about that still to this day. I wish I could apologize to him, because he was a good friend,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I respect him a lot because of,
He's a fucking hard worker, man. He is.
He's a very hard worker.
I'll give that to him.
Yeah, but, sometimes things can't be fixed.
Sometimes they can't, but that unfortunately.
But that's on me. So, there's been things that I've done I'm not too proud of, that people still give me shit about. But
yeah, we had something where we said people think that you do things or you say things out of nowhere just because you're being a dick. But we had something happen to us, especially around the same time, which is kind of odd that we bring it up. We came out and said, "Fuck deathcore," which honestly today I still stand by it, because it didn't come out of nowhere. It was being dissed by bands that should have had our back, that didn't have our backs, and they could say to my face, which they have. We're friends now, but the damage is done. Like they were coming out, they were, I guess, were inspired by us, and they never fucking gave us a bone, and they never said anything about us in the press. We were kind of like the face of like this new genre coming up. We're getting all these tours and shows, and not once did any of them give us any props, or it was always like they're trying to like, I don't know, steal the face of it. So that really, and then eventually the deathcore scene went to shit. So I was like, so people think, so we said fuck deathcore. I still feel that way because some bands still do that to me. So I know how it feels when you get dissed, but the problem is when you say things publicly, all people see is that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like all
yeah.
they
don't see what's behind it.
No,
they just see that moment of
exactly
of emotion.
So we call bands sellouts, which again I stand by it. Is so they all they see is like the retaliation. They don't see like the years of buildup.
Yeah.
But that's life. It's the cliche. What was the cliche, Jay? Like the referee only sees the retaliation.
Right, they don't see like the poking and behind the scenes
it's just
or
it's
whatever.
Poke here,
and then
here,
that's
disrespect
it.
here.
That's it. That's the last straw.
And then you say, "Fuck
Yeah,
this," and you're like, "Oh, fuck you! You're a fucking dick."
Yeah. Well,
fuck Chris Barnes. He's a fucking asshole. No, I get it, man. I've been there.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, but
yeah.
I probably am an asshole, but I try not to be.
Dude, I think sometimes, man, you gotta be an asshole sometimes. I'm 39, so I've learned actually, more so in like music business, I've actually gotten fucked over by being too nice. Because then you kind of miss things. So I'm like, damn, I wish I was an asshole here. But the thing about the asshole, it's fun to do, but it can only come in at the exact right moments. And knowing those moments is fucking hard.
It can catch up to you. You know, I mean, it can. Mm-hmm. It can. You can miss opportunities because
true. My rule, if I talk shit, it comes from my heart.
Yeah.
It's the order. It's the heart first, ego second. It's not ego first and then heart.
No, it never is.
It has to be the heart first.
Yeah.
So then if anything happens, it's like, okay, well, at least I meant it. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
And your true friends will be like, oh, you said that, that's fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I hear people talk shit on me, but I'm like, oh, cool, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah. I don't. It's hard for me to get really like upset people I don't know talking shit about me. Like I don't know you. I don't respect you and I don't care for you. So, but when other people that I know, like that kind of stings a little bit. But But sometimes you need a good friend close to you to tell you like you're an asshole or something.
Do you have anyone in your close circle to kind of keep you in check? Do you have like a like a best friend or like a couple you kind of bounce things off of?
I don't really. I don't think so. I mean,
really?
Yeah. Maybe my girlfriend or something, but not really. I don't.
A lot of friends.
I don't think I do really. I don't think I do have very many like close friends. I'm kind of reclusive. I mean, I do have some friends, like I do, but not like that. Not like
really?
That I'm close with. I don't hang out with anybody.
Is that for better or for worse? It's like if you had something on your mind or something happened to you, like you don't have like at least a few people that you could call or text. Hey,
I do. I have some people like that I'm friends with and stuff, but I wouldn't say like I have anybody close by that I'm friends with that I could go hang out with or anything. I don't really hang out with anybody. Like I haven't seen anyone in my band for 5 years. Like we didn't even rehearse for this tour.
5 years, dude?
Yeah. I live about 30 minutes from Marco. Since I've lived in Seattle for 10 years, we've never like hung out or anything. So,
man.
Yeah.
Where does Jack live?
He lives near Rockford, Illinois.
Okay.
He was actually supposed to be at that Morbid Angel show that the roof got hit by that tornado. And
Oh,
stuff. He was
yeah.
supposed to be there. He lives in that town.
It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone lives somewhere else. Like Mark was the only one that's close to me. Jack lives in Illinois. Ray lives in Jersey. Hewell lives in like Bay Area near San Fran. And,
Fuck.
yeah, so.
Sometimes I wonder, like, I'm very lucky. My life is sick. Like, I play guitar in a band. This has become like a second dream. Some people live one dream. I'm living two. It's fucking crazy.
And
I'm
I don't
talking
do
to
any
you.
of this stuff, man.
I know. I'm talking to you. This is like a moment, dude.
Like, I'm only doing this because I respect the hell out of you, and I love your podcast.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
I don't
like
want
it.
I had this in my mind. Am I going to talk about this or am I not? This morning, I woke up abnormally calm. I was just normal shit. Get up, make, put coffee in a French press, feed a cat, go out. Just looking at it. It was also kind of like raining too. So I was reading the Alchemist. I'm kind of like going through it, and I started thinking. I was like, why am I so calm right now? Because this sometimes you're just natural anxiety, or just like you're really busy. You're busy, and it's just pressure. Good. I mean, good pressure. I sat there. I'm like, why am I so calm? And I started thinking, because the first thing I read was the message that you sent me that Slagle told you.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, man, like, because I believe that when you put in, when you're just grinding and you're hustling, you're working, things line up, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, man, like, it could be whatever you believe, universe, God, best friends that passed away. Something makes things. It comes in at the right moment. And for some reason I thought about Slagle. I'm like, maybe like something kind of hit him at that moment. Say, oh, you're doing this podcast, great. Something so stupid and simple, but for that to happen, it's like everything has felt right. And I was like, damn, I'm really lucky. If this podcast happens, I'm really lucky that I'm fucking doing it, and things are. Well, I feel like I didn't choose it, or maybe even like you didn't choose it.
That's what I'm talking about, as far as like things are supposed to be,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man, he was really like excited that I was doing the podcast and stuff, and he just said that's amazing,
Yeah, so you haven't smoked weed, drank in 2 years.
2.5 years. Yeah.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Did that kind of help you, like, because this conversation might not have been possible like 2 years ago, maybe even like.
Yeah, I would have said no.
What?
I isolated myself so much from everything. Like, I have such a different like outlook on what's important now, and I just was always worried about weed, like how I was gonna get weed here, or how I was gonna get weed there, or smuggling weed. I became an expert in smuggling weed.
That was my question. Like, dude, you're always been like an advocate for weed. I'm like, how did you, before it was legal, how did you get it around? You became a professional smuggler.
Yeah, like I'd ball my dreads up and put a half ounce or an ounce in there and wrap my hair around it. Like, I got pulled over many times. Yeah, and after they let me go, I'd call my brother. I'd be like, he was my best friend. See, he was the one but he's gone now. So, but yeah. So I'd be smuggling weed everywhere, or
Fuck, dude, that's scary, dude.
Oh yeah, even going back to '92 when I was in Cannibal Corps, we played Czechoslovakia before.
Oh, you didn't.
When it was communist, and I smuggled fucking weed into there.
Oh, you fucking idiot.
And not only that, but after the show, was out in a tour bus. I had one of those fucking automatic pipes where it was a blower, It would just blow fucking smoke automatically at you. I was out there. I looked outside, and there was fucking cops dressed like Gestapo in long black leather trench coats, holding fucking German shepherds on short leashes, just walking around the bus. And I was like, man,
You're
I
going
didn't
to
even
prison.
think anything of it.
No,
No. Like if you
you're a
watch that,
psycho.
uh, Cannibal Corpse Eats Moscow Alive video, like all the stuff that we did, like we got weed like across from the Kremlin. We were in the bus driving around the Moscow streets smoking weed, man. Like I would never do that now. It's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck was I doing? We were smoking weed in fucking Russia. Like we would probably be still in a gulag if they would have like caught us.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
So,
Well, it's nice to hear that you don't do it.
yeah, no, I wore out my 9 lives, man. So,
Yeah, you did.
yeah.
Yeah, you live the crazy life, man. You live a fucking crazy life, dude. Wow. How did Jim Carrey find out about you guys?
I don't know. I think what the story was that I heard was that he first wanted Napalm Death to do it.
Oh, it's a rumor.
And,
Okay.
yeah, and that they didn't want to do it or something. So we were like the second choice. He knew of us, or we were the band that he thought of after they said no. So, he requested us, from what I heard, through Morgan Creek, through the production company that did the movie, and they contacted Metal Blade. And Mike Faley, who you met tonight, called me and said, Chris, they want you to be in this movie. You know who Jim Carrey is? I'm like, yeah, man, he's funny as could be. I loved him as far as his stand-up. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, man. And I went up to the rehearsal space and I told the guys, and I remember Alex said, I don't know, man. He didn't want to do it.
Oh,
we
my
almost had to
God.
talk him into it, but he didn't. He
Wow.
thought it was like, he didn't know how it
Yeah.
would probably in what light it would put the band, like, because it was a comedy, and I think he's pretty careful about that stuff as far as how death metal is perceived and everything, like
Yeah, maybe a little bit too over.
commercial maybe.
Yeah.
Like he told me, I remember he said, because of the success of the song Stripped, Raped, and Strangled, he told me he'd never write another song like that.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I wanted there to be way more songs like that. And that's why I think, Created to Kill was so technical and so like away from that song, from the bleeding.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So, but we did it. I almost didn't make it down there because, again, I was smuggling weed.
Oh my.
So this
Goodness.
movie, this whole appearance might not have happened, or I might not have been in it, because I was standing in line at the airport in Buffalo on our way down to Miami to do this movie, and I had a fucking half ounce of fucking weed stuffed down my pants. There was no security back then at airports, right?
Oh wow.
So there wasn't
I
like
think
you
about
went
that.
through a pat down or a sniffer or a metal detector, even like maybe a metal detector. But I was standing in line to get my boarding pass, and I had a fucking bunch of weed stuffed down the front of my pants with a gram of coke in the middle of it.
Oh wow.
And up walks a fucking cop and a dog,
Wow.
and I started sweating profusely.
What the dog do?
Nothing. It walked on by. Again, it was the God or whoever said, don't,
Whoever the fuck you
So I
believe in.
I went in the bathroom and
Shit.
did a line and
Oh no.
and fucking flushed it, and got on the plane and went to Miami and did Ace Ventura.
Oh.
I've never told that story. And for the record, I was never a big into coke or anything, because
Yeah.
like I I told you earlier we were talking, but it just wasn't my thing. I did some here and there, but I had a moment here and there. I had a moment doing like Valium and Xanax too, but that didn't last long either.
Fuck, dude.
I've always tried to like alter my perception, and that's why I kind of quit smoking weed and quit drinking for the past 2.5 years, because I altered my perception enough I wanted to try not altering my perception anymore.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, there's a bunch of different stories we could go into about stuff like that.
Man, did you talk to Jim at all?
Yeah. He when we arrived on the set the first night, we weren't even doing anything. We just got there, and we went to one of the scenes that was being filmed. And he came out after he was done with his lines, and he was talking to us. He was cool. There's a story about that. Like, I said to him, I said, just don't do that thing with your neck that you do for that Fire Marshal Bill deal, and where he sticks his veins out of his neck. I said that really like sickens me. And he was like, that gets you sick, but you write all these lyrics that are about killing people. I'm like, yeah man, it's all the veins coming out of your neck. And he thought that was so funny. But like he I got to go like every night we were there. They took us up to the suite that they were editing like the dailies in. So I got to see them editing the film. The whole film was written on the fly. There was no script, man. There was like maybe a rough script about stuff, but he was writing it as they went. It was really wild. And I learned about like during like the music part of the when we were filming the music, when we were on stage and there was dialogue, but we were still in the background playing, there was no music playing. We couldn't make a sound. The crowd couldn't make a sound as far as moshing or cheering.
Yeah,
they were
point.
they were fake doing everything really silent. They had to be silent. And these were all kids that they scouted the weekend before from a death metal show in Miami and stuff. So they got all extras from that. So we're on stage when he's talking in the audience to somebody. There's no music playing. There's no music for us to even sync up to. We're up there like Airband and to nothing.
Oh, you're a pro.
I'm a pro at Airband, and so it came back to me right away.
It came back real quick.
Yeah. But it was so cool to see how a movie was made, because I'm a movie fanatic. Like I am like. I have over 600 DVDs. I don't even know how many VHS I have in storage somewhere, but I have 9,000 movies, TV shows, and on my digital on my Xbox. So I have over 9,000 fucking movies.
Wow.
So like people ask me, "What are you listening to, Chris?" I'm like,
I'm watching.
I don't listen to any music. Like hardly ever. Like very rarely. I watch like movies. And I watch movies very strangely. Like I might watch a movie. I know people won't believe it, but I had It's a Wonderful Life, because I love Frank Capra.
Yeah.
I had It's a Wonderful Life playing at my house on 2 different TVs, 24 hours a day for a year and a half.
Why?
Because I watch movies like over and over, and I wanted to study that film for some reason. It's really odd. Like on this tour, over the past week, I've probably watched American Werewolf in London. I don't know, man. Maybe 20 times.
So you don't like you don't get bored of a movie, or it's like it's like you just want to keep rewatching it.
Yeah, like about a year and a half ago, I delved into to Italian horror again. So I watched Lucio Fulci's full catalog from like Beatrice Cenci, his early stuff. and I bought every DVD too,
Mm.
all the way through to Conquest.
Wow.
Everything. So I would just I delve into like stuff differently. Like I'll watch a whole catalog of someone. Before that, I watched all of Paul Newman's films, every one of them.
Mm.
At a point in time back in probably 2000 or something, for when I was renting VHS tapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Video, every day I would rent 3 movies from the classic section, right?
Okay.
It took me a year and a half to go through every single movie in the classic movie section, but I watched every one, and I rented every one of them.
Oh, wow. You fucking paid their rent for a little, quick second, dude.
Yeah. I'm it's a sickness, man. Yeah, Conquest, man. That's probably my favorite Fulci film.
1983.
It's awesome.
Oh, wow, dude. How long did it? Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I watched that series.
Are you probably finished it in like 2 days? Huh?
Yeah, we binged watched that, and also my girlfriend liked the 6 Feet Under
of course
show, and I vowed never to watch it.
Oh yeah.
But I did.
I'll never watch this shit.
Yeah. They stole my band name, but there's so many bands that were named 6 Feet Under. It's like it wasn't so original. But yeah, I ended up liking it, so we binge watched the hell out of that whole series. Yeah,
open-minded, dude.
Yeah. No, believe me, if I'm wrong about something, I'm the first one to like be like, oh shit, I was wrong.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's definitely a magic to admitting that or saying sorry, and knowing when you're wrong. It's really special.
Of course,
it's cool.
I mean, you'd really have to think highly of yourself to not admit when you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. And that makes you sick.
Yeah,
because I think if you tell a lie, it just sits. Your mind knows, and then once it like believes it, your mind just becomes distorted in such a way I don't think you can recover.
No.
Like that.
That's I despise lying.
Yeah, it's like your mind can't handle that, dude.
Yeah.
It can't. Do you remember any of the true fiction books that you were reading?
I was reading a lot of different stuff. I was reading stuff on Ed Gein, on Albert Fish, on Henry Lee Lucas, on the Green River Killer. Like, okay, so this is funny, man. I remember reading the Green River Killer book in 91. We were on our first tour of Europe, right? In like October of 91. And we get over there, and I'm telling you, this isn't something anyone's probably had to do on tour, but it was our first tour.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't, we had like it was an RV, but it was kind of like a bus.
Mm.
But they didn't have enough bunks for everybody, so we had to sleep 2 to a bunk.
Oh, fuck.
So for 5 weeks, I slept with Jack.
Yeah, you and Jack always close, huh?
Yeah.
Seems like, yeah. Hey, I see it. I see something there. Okay, so
we slept together for 5 weeks, and I remember every night we'd go to bed like an old married couple, and he'd write in his journal, and I'd lay back and read the Green River Killer book. I mean, it's a thick book, so, but
wow.
Yeah, so that was my first experience with touring at all. That was our first tour.
Damn, you guys love death metal. Fuck, that's sick. Do you guys do it now just to kind of like relive like the moment?
Yeah, I know. I always bring it up. I'm like, I slept with Jack.
It's like your bed's over there, mine's back here. I'm staying far away from fucking you, dude. Fuck that, dude. I've had enough punishment, dude.
Yeah, but how about that though? That who would do that nowadays? You'd walk off the tour if that happened.
Dude, that would drive me fucking crazy, man. That would drive me crazy. How are you feeling about your new record?
It's great. It was interesting doing that one because it was the first album I've ever done where I didn't write the lyrics. Jack, what happened was like, I said, Jack, why don't you like let me know in each song where you want vocals, because as a vocalist, I'll sometimes put vocals where the guitarist or the writer wouldn't expect them to. I remember Steve like telling me, I didn't expect you to put vocals in that part. And then I've had guys that I've written with, like Rob Arnold, that he would road map it out for me. He'd put the time, like 1 minute to 1:30 vocal part, blah, 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 and do that for each song. So that was interesting to me. That like was a new way to write for me.
Nice.
And so like I asked Jack, I'm like, just, tell me where you want vocals, because I know I'll write it somewhere different that you might not like it. So I was like, even if you put a scratch track of like gibberish, like, and just like show me where you want the like, 'cause that's what I did on Crypt of the Devil. Phil Hall like mapped it out like that. He just did a bunch of gibberish and did a track of it, and I wrote from that, which was way different to like make lyrics from gibberish, So then, like for this album, I said that to Jack, but all of a sudden, Jack sends me a song demoed out with vocals, full lyrics that he just wrote it. It's like,
Wow.
well, geez, this kind of makes it easy for me,
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe leave me one song that I can write lyrics for. But I went back and like edited and rewrote some stuff to make the storylines kind of come together more.
Just fucking prolific or something, dude.
Yeah, and he's already right after he got done with this, then he sent me a whole new album with lyrics and everything already done. So it's, yeah, I mean, we could have came out with another album 5 minutes later because it's already done. It's just sitting there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's really prolific. He's a great writer, great lyricist. Even back to Eating Back to Life, he wrote the first part of Shredded Humans and said, okay, finish it off. That's how we worked that one out. So it was like kind of like that for this album.
It's so great seeing Jack Owen up there just rip. Me and Jared talking, I was telling him, dude, that's Jack Owen. Literally, the dude's a fucking legend. You're just seeing like, this is a moment right now, man.
Yeah, man. He's such an awesome dude. He's so funny, such a dry sense of humor, and he's such a good person, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He really doesn't, man. He's such an important part of death metal.
I mean, he was in 2 biggest death metal bands of all time, so
yeah,
that's
he was in Deicide.
Oh yeah, so 3.
Yeah,
that's the fucking mic drop.
Yeah,
fuck you guys. If I was Jack Owen, I would be such an asshole.
Never.
I would be such a
Jack could never be an asshole.
That's awesome.
No, he's
That's
funny
awesome.
about things more than he is an asshole. If he's, if he has something like that irks him, he'll make light of it in a humorous way. He's that type of guy.
Special guy, man.
Yeah,
It must be awesome for you to have him back.
it is. It is.
It's cool.
I think working with him, a lot of people don't like Nightmares of the Decomposed, but I think it's a great album. It was my first album writing back with him, and a lot of people, I don't think when it came out, so many people didn't like it. It wasn't until I opened my big mouth about the genre,
Yes.
and then they dug into me, man. But I never said anything about death metal bands, or the fans. It was just about the genre, like being. It's like I'm not gonna explain myself, but it just. I just see, like you said, about people not speaking their mind. It just seems like it's gotten so neutered, and people are so afraid to speak their mind, or they're afraid that if they say no to something, or I see them bowing down to so much of the internet, And I just don't like how the internet's kind of dictated the genre, like the feel of it, really.
Yeah.
I never said anything bad about the bands. There's great new bands. Great new bands, you know.
I saw you wearing a Psycroptic hoodie.
Yeah, man,
know?
they're fucking amazing.
You're fucking rocking.
That band is. I've told him. I told Jason. I said, "You're the best vocalist on this tour. In my opinion, you guys are the best band on the tour."
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
Joe
That's cool.
is like a special guitarist, man. Like there's guys in the history of music that I think are, as far as guitarists go, you know that, right? There's guys that like their sound stands out as being unique,
Yeah.
you know, and their approach
them.
to it. You know his playing?
No, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Did you see him tonight?
No.
Man,
I missed him.
whenever I hear his playing, it's like, dude, that is just so fucking like stand out to me. It's like,
Nice.
yeah. So I mean, he's just incredible, man. That band's great. Dave's a great drummer, and we're gonna hopefully go down to Australia because he's a booking agent down there, and I feel really comfortable working with him. So I'm looking
Dope.
forward to it. I haven't been some failed attempts at going down there over the past decade, but
Yeah.
I'd love to go back because just because it's really a cool place, you know.
Yeah, it's time for you guys to start booking some tours, man.
Yeah, that's gonna happen because
Get down there.
if I waited another 12 years, I'll
can't do
I'll be almost 70 years old. I'm not gonna do that.
No, you don't want to do that, man.
No, I can't. So
You know what? I have even being from like the outside, I have noticed like you know, people are coming out to the shows and I think finally showing some respect towards you. So it's cool.
Well, yeah,
It's cool to see.
I think it's neat because I think certain people thought that the hate from the internet would follow me out into the physical world on tour, and it
that's
just
cool to think.
wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. These, you know, the fans have been waiting to see us. There's been guys that have come up to the meet and greets, right, that are like in their mid-20s, and they're like, last time you toured, I was 12 years old.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? So, and the Ray Suey's a guitar teacher. He's a guitar instructor and an amazing one. And he says that a lot of his younger students are really into 6 Feet Under and like the earlier death metal bands. For some reason, it's like a thing for them, you know? So he's like, you wouldn't believe how many young kids like 6 Feet Under. I'm like,
That's sick.
yeah, so,
Wow.
you know.
Hey Jay, it says did you film this? Yeah. Oh, it's yours. I was tripping out.
Oh, that's from tonight?
I was like, did someone post this already? Holy crap! I know Jay. Okay, Jay filmed it. Okay,
Yeah,
it all,
man. What
it all
a
makes sense
show.
now.
What a great show.
It was awesome, man. Hey
Yeah.
Chris, anything on your mind? Any closing thoughts, man? I think we're 2 hours and 15
Really?
minutes.
Oh, wow, this has gone quick.
Dude, it's 12:45.
I've talked a lot.
It's 12:45.
They're going to leave me.
I don't think we're ever
I
gonna
don't
top
think
this.
anyone knows where I am right now. I just left the bus, didn't say
fuck.
anything.
I don't think this is ever gonna be topped.
No, man. I
This is
mean,
sick.
I don't know what else to say, man. I hope I haven't like dug into anybody or made anyone unhappy with what I've said tonight, and you know, I never want to hurt anybody's feelings or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
People can hurt my feelings if they want, though. I don't mind. I'm sure they will.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Like, bring it on, dude.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But it didn't follow me, all that internet BS and people being disrespectful to me. It didn't follow me out on tour. So it's been quite the opposite. I've been so like, I've been very thankful about this.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Especially for what you've been through the past just month, man. You lived my my biggest fear. My biggest fear in my life is losing my parents. And you lived it, Chris. So I'm very sorry, man.
thanks, man.
You know,
Thank you.
it's pretty incredible to see You're the example, man. You are the bar. There's no excuses, man. Get the fuck out there. Holy shit! You did it, man. I've seen so many bands just drop off tours.
Yeah.
And,
And I made it through.
Understand?
I made it through the beginning of the tour. The first week I had. I'm not going to say it was, but I'm pretty sure it was COVID for like the first week, and I sang through it. I felt like I was going to cancel 2 or 3 shows because I couldn't get out of bed. I was paralyzed back there. I was in tears. My tour manager came back. I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to cancel this show. I've been waiting. Too many people are relying on me, and I wanted to see it, and it was breaking my heart. And she's like, I'll be back. And 20 minutes before, I'm like, I'm getting up, and I went out there and I sang, really more sick than I've ever been. So I love this music. I love these fans, and I love death metal more than anybody could ever understand, because, and I'm gonna tell you, man. Brian Slagle and Metal Blade Records have always stood behind me, and they've always had my back. And Slagle changed my life, man. I mean, really, what they've done for me all these years and has been. I don't think I would be where I am if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, they brought you off the ledge a few times, right?
Yeah, man. So.
Well, Chris, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. We are honored to get to talk to you. You know, and I just thank you for. I think I speak for people that don't get a chance to tell you, but thank you for everything that you've done for death metal. If it wasn't for you, Chris Barnes, we would not be here.
Oh.
A lot of people wouldn't be here, and a lot of bands, whether they want to admit it or not, you are the GOAT. So just thank you for everything that you've done for death metal. Death metal created what we're doing, deathcore. So I wouldn't be here. So
well, thank you, Chris.
So thank you.
You're like a good dude, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too, Chris.
Yeah, man.
That's a great closer. All right, everyone. That's it. Later.